All right. All right. Hey, Miss Adams.
Hello, Miss Norman.
All right. Last time we met, we set a goal for you to create a pathway prior to releasing students to their independent seat assignment. I noticed that during your lesson for writing that you did utilize your pathway, and I want to ask you, what made that successful for you?
Being able to monitor and watch my students and making sure that they was following along. So the strength of creating a pathway is just making sure they're all on task.
Okay, good. So, with that being said, what impact has having that pathway made for your classroom as a whole? What impact has that had?
My students know like I'm being seen, watching or looking. More to say, my students are expecting for me to come around to either glance at their paper or put a check mark or some type of understanding, and they know that I'm coming, so they stay on task.
Good. All right. So today I want to discuss with you internalizing key parts of your lesson for writing, specifically scripting the I do section of that lesson. So let's look at the last week's writing objective and the key understandings that students need to have in order to master it.
Okay.
So what do students need to know and understand by the end of that lesson? What were your expectations by the end of the lesson that they should be able to do?
Follow the skill for directed drawing and being able to label the parts of the picture.
Okay. Okay. So being able to draw and label, I think, is the main objective for this lesson. So how would you explain those key understandings, or how would you model those understandings to the students? The drawing and the labeling.
Watching and then doing. So I do and then we do. I think that I was alternating the two instead of just doing the whole I do piece and then allowing them to gradual release and allowing them to do the we do.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Okay, so for doing that, the part in your lesson, or making sure that they're drawing and labeling correctly, you stated that you need to do better at with just focusing on the I do and then the gradual release. What would be the key points of confusion for many of your students with you saying that they're supposed to be labeling and writing down those sounds? What do you think the key confusion is amongst your class as a whole, given how you delivered the lesson?
Right. So I think that the key would be letting them know what the expectation is for labeling. Mm-hmm. So how many letter sounds am I expecting for you to get to?
Yes. Good. Okay. So given that answer, what would you emphasize your points given that answer, where should you emphasize those points about knowing which letter and what placement to put the letter? Where should you emphasize that in your lesson?
In the modeling part, so in the I do part.
In the modeling and the I do section, good. Okay, so what key points do you need to make sure that you communicate to the students during the I do? Just the specific points during the I do.
What to label.
Yes.
What specific items to label.
Mm-hmm.
How many letter sounds I'm looking for in each label. And just following the steps to draw the picture to the best of their ability.
Okay. So let's just stick to the I do part for labeling.
Okay.
We're going to assume that their picture, they've already done the directed drawing and that they've already drawn their picture. We're going to focus today on the I do for just the labeling portion, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to show you a model of how to just the I do portion for labeling. I'm keeping in mind some of the things that you said, and I want you to watch how I hone in on the specific expectations for the kids and the model part of showing them how to label their pictures.
Okay.
Or label their pictures. Okay, so at this point, the kids would all be, since this is an I do before we start, your kids will be on the carpet. They're not at their seat, and they shouldn't have anything in their hand because it's just solely you modeling your think aloud for the students. Okay. All right, so boys and girls, yesterday we drew a house. Today we're going to be putting a label with our pictures. Okay, we're going to be putting a label with our picture. We must make sure that our label and our picture match. What do we need to make sure we need to do? Yes, so Miss Norman's going to show you how we label our picture. Your picture must have a word, and your word must have a picture. So I'm going to look at my house that we drew yesterday. I'm going to draw a line to show the parts of the picture. There's one part of the picture. Here's another part I'm going to label in our picture. Here's a part I'm going to label in our picture. Oh, I can even label this part of my picture. Here's going to be a label of my picture. Okay, I'm going to start with this part. I know that the line that touches that part of the house is the part that I'm going to label. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that what I write on this line matches the label that I put. Okay, so let me see. I think this line is pointing to the roof. Remember, it's my turn. This line is pointing to the roof. Let me see. How do I write the word roof? I need to make sure I chop up the sounds and listen to my ears because they're my best friends. Let me listen and see what sounds I hear in the word roof. Roof. Let's see. Roof. The first sound I hear, let me see. I know the sound is R. The letter that makes that sound is R. So my first letter is going to be R. Roof. I don't have the whole word roof. I only have the sound of R. I need to write all the sounds that I hear in the word roof. Let me do it again and see what other sounds I hear. Roof. My next sound I hear is ooh. I'm not sure. That's a tricky one. Ooh. Let me look at the word wall. I think ooh is kind of sounds like you. I think that sound matches. Let me put you. Ooh. Ooh. I'm going to stop. So if they don't know the OO says ooh, like you haven't taught that, that's a good substitution for that. But if you know your students know that, if that's something you taught, then obviously you could do the OO however you do that. So, ooh. I don't have the whole word roof. Remember, I need to do all the sounds I hear in the word roof. Ooh. That's the sound. Like fish. F says like fish. That matches the sound that I hear in my ear, and the letter I write needs to match. Let's see if I have it. Oof. Oof. You always want to say it back to make sure the sounds that you say match what the letters that you write. Oof. Roof. Oh, and I see that this word roof matches the part of my picture. The picture and my label match. Oh, okay. Now let's go to the next one. This one that's pointing to the window. Window. Let me see if I can write that word. Window. The first sound I hear is like I can use my word wall because that's a tricky letter. I know it's not Y because Y says like yo-yo. Like worm. Ooh, that's the letter W. W says w. Now let's see, that's not all of it. So I need to finish writing all the sounds that I hear in window. Do. Let's see. Like igloo. I I know that I says what, but I need window. That's not right. I need to write all the sounds. What in dough. What in dough. What in d. What it. Wait, that's not what I said. Remember, my letter and my sound that I say for my lips need to match. What it. That's not it. What and D. D says D. What and what and O. Oh. What and O. Let's see. I have it all. What and O. That picture and the word match. So that's the word window. Okay. So I would stop right there. That's kind of the I do part, and then from there you would do another one like with them helping you and modeling that segmenting of the sounds.
Okay.
Okay. And then after that, obviously after the we do, then they would have their own paper. And that will be done in separate days. It doesn't all have to be done in one day because you want to make sure you do it with fidelity so that they understand the concept of how to.
So do you use the same picture every day?
Well, for every day. They would use that same picture the next day to do their own, but I would not keep it up for them to show that but then on the day that's the graded one, they would have one that's different.
Okay.
To show their true understanding of segmenting and writing down the sounds to hear.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why we only have to have one graded a week, so you can gradually get them to where they can do one independently. Yeah. Okay. So, based on the model, what is the gap between for my delivery that I do and the delivery that you showed in your lesson last week?
You did the I do, and you didn't have any help from your students, so it wasn't like a participation type of thing. It was just you demonstrating what you wanted them to do.
Yes. So what do you think your action step would be for this lesson?
Scripting out the I do,
Yes.
and making sure that I'm segmenting the sound.
Yes, so scripting out your I do, and making sure that you have those key understandings in that I do and just stick to those specific things. So making sure that you go ahead and write these down. This is how you're going to be able to do that. So here's your 3 steps. You're going to write out the key understandings that students must reach by the end of the lesson. So remember we said the point of the lesson was to be able to write the sounds they hear in their ear, the phonetic spelling that matches the picture. You're going to script your I do into your lesson, including a think aloud and a model, making sure that there's a clear think aloud of just you. And narrow your scripts down to when you think aloud to those specific understandings that you want the kids to narrow your script to just those specific understandings. Like I was only focusing on them segmenting and writing down the sounds. So keep your script to that for that portion of the lesson. And like I said, it's okay if that's your first day and that's all you get time to do, depending upon the time frame, that's okay. Okay, you got those down?
What was number 3 on the chart?
Specific understanding. You're going to make sure you stick to your script and only focus on in your script the specific understandings that your students will be able to do at the end of the lesson, which would be that phonetic spelling for the label. So what we're going to do now is we're going to plan before we practice. So what I want you to do is when you're writing your plan, we're going to actually write it right now. I want you to be thinking about what those understandings need to be by the end of the lesson, and you're going to script that out, and then we will practice. So So let's take about 3 to 5 minutes and let's write your script for your I do. Okay?
Okay. Oh, where can I spell to?
Okay. All right. So now that you've wrote your script, so let's look over your script and let's look at it before we actually take it live. Okay. So go ahead and read me what part of your script says. I guess this part. We'll start down there.
Okay. So today we are going to create labels for the picture of the house that we drew on yesterday. I am going to show you how to label. This is my turn to show you how to make the pictures and the labels match.
Mm-hmm.
This is my turn to show you how to make the pictures and the labels match.
Yes.
I am going to make sure that I am saying all my letter sounds. Oh, wait. I am going to make sure that I am saying my sounds
Okay.
out loud so my ears can hear and the letters that I write down are coming out on my paper, that I'm able to write those down. So I'm making sure that I say my letter sounds out loud so that my ears can hear the letters to write down on my paper. I need to make sure I am saying all of my sounds when I pull apart my words. Now I'm going to model how this should be done.
Okay. I know once we practice a little more, you can condense your words a little bit.
Yes,
It's a little wordy, but I know it's because we just wrote the whole narrative out. So as we're practicing and it flows, you might want to try to condense that that script a little bit so it's not so wordy and you don't lose the kids in translation. So think about some of the things you could cut out and condense, like maybe the part. Well, I'll let you think first, and I'll suggestion.
I didn't cut the first part. I can just say I'm going to show you how to label. This is my turn to show you how to make the picture and the
Yes.
labels match.
Okay, so that's
So
one.
I don't need.
Yes, you
all
don't need
this.
all. I mean, because you're kind of do that as an intro as you transition into writing, anyways.
Yeah.
So let's condense that. Okay. And then what other part maybe we can try to condense in there?
I'm going to show you how to label.
Well, I would say when you said I'm going to make sure that my picture and my word match, and that the letters I write matches the sounds that my lips say. Like you could do that in like one long run-on sentence. So I think you wrote it out like complete, like correct grammar, really long, complete sentences. You could condense that and kind of kill two birds with one stone in the sense of saying, giving them those two things that you're going to be doing with one kind of sentence. So I'm going to make sure that my picture and my label match, and the sounds that I write match the sounds that are coming out of my mouth. The letters that I write match the sounds coming out of my mouth. So picture and label match. And
I got you.
And the letters that I write match the sounds that my ears hear or that my lips say, as opposed to doing, there you go, you got it.
And then. I got you.
Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so before we take it live, we're gonna practice first of all like they're perfect children. I may pause you to give you real-time feedback, and depending upon time, we may go back and do it again and plan for a student error.
Okay.
Okay. So, are you ready to practice and take it live?
Sure.
Okay. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Let's try this.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Go ahead.
All right. So today we are going to talk about, we are going to label the picture of the house that we had on yesterday, that we drew on yesterday. So this is going to be my turn. This is Miss Adams' turn to draw and label the pictures and use my ear sounds. So making sure that my words that are coming out of my mouth match the labels that are going to be on my picture.
Okay, use your hand gestures. I know it's hard to show on your paper, but like try to sit because they can do the visual too. That's going to help them understand that the picture and my label need to match.
Okay, so we need to make sure that the picture and the label are going to match.
Yes.
It's going to make sure that the what? picture and the label are going to match. Good job. So now,
And the letters that I write. It's okay. No, it's okay. And the letters that I write.
are gonna match the sounds that I hear. So I'm gonna make sure that the letters that I write are gonna match the sounds that I hear. All right, great job. This is funny. I need to make sure I'm saying all the parts of my sounds when I get ready to pull apart my words. It's just going bad today. This is real. Anyway, so we see that we already have the roof. We have the window. Now we are going to do the door. The door. Think about the sounds in the word d or. Think about the sounds in the word d or. Okay? D, d.
Okay, stop. Don't
No.
tell them to think.
Oh, me think.
You're thinking.
Ooh.
This is your think aloud.
You're right.
All they're doing is watching. So when you say that, they're going to be thinking, they're going to be going, oh, duh, duh, duh. They're going to be telling you, don't do that.
Okay.
This is your brain. You're thinking aloud like a crazy person out loud in front of children. So you're showing them how the process goes.
All right, so let me think about
There
the
you
sound.
go.
D, d. I think d, d is the D sound like dog.
Exaggerate and be more animated in your process. Or however you do it with your arm or your arm, but they need to see some action.
Okay.
Because you want to see them do it when it's their turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah, you can try again, yeah. Okay. Door, so do door again, but do it how you would show them, physically show them
Okay.
how you would process and segment those sounds.
All right. Let's go try this again. So I need to think about what sound is going to come first. The word is d or. D or. The first sound that I hear is d. The first sound that I hear is d. I know that the d sound comes from the same word as dog. A dog. So I know that the first sound in my word is going to be d, d, d. The first letter of that word is a D. A D. So I'm going to write it right here on my label. Like that?
Yes.
Okay. So the next sound in my word, let's start back from the beginning. I'll start back from the beginning because it's still Miss Adams' turn. So I'm starting at the top of my arm. D or. Let me think. I already have the D sound. D or. I have no idea what sound comes next. Let me look at my word wall. Oh, I know. Maybe like orange. And the beginning of that letter is a O. D or.
Beginning of that word.
Oh.
It's okay. Beginning of that word
The
is.
beginning of that word is O. So like orange. So Miss Adams is going to put the O sound here. The letter O, sorry.
Yeah, reiterate that. And I know that the letter O says ah or O. It's like orange. So they're associating the letter and the sound matching, as well as obviously the label, the word, and the picture matching.
Okay.
Because sometimes they'll say this correct sound, but they'll write the incorrect letter. So try to do that. So keep going with the door.
Okay. D or. So the N sound that I hear, I need to start it from the top.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So the N sound that I hear is D or. The N sound is the sound. I know that the sound sounds most like
The letter.
the letter R. The sounds most like the letter R. So I'm going to sound this word out one more time. D or. So Miss Adams is going to write it R on the last part of her label.
Okay, you need to check for understanding. Do I have all of the letter sounds in the word George?
Mm-hmm.
So that way they don't just write one letter and think they're done.
Gotcha.
So try that.
So I also need to make sure that I have all of my letter sounds from pulling my word apart. D, or. D, or. I think that I completed my label with all of my letter sounds that I heard. So I made sure that my letters and my sounds match my label. And my label and my picture match.
Okay, good. All right, do one more. I do with one more label from beginning to end without stop. So do it without stopping and hitting all those points.
Okay.
Whichever one you want. Like you can do knob.
Or knob?
Just do knob. Yeah, knob.
Okay.
Or handle, whichever.
Okay. So. My eyes can't take it.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to label the knob. The knob. First, I'm going to make sure that my letters and my sounds match the label on my picture. Let me think. The word knob. Let me sound it out. Pull it apart. Knob. One more time, just for double checking. Knob. The first letter that I hear is the N sound. I know that the N sound is the letter N. The letter N. So let me check and write that down. The letter N. I know that's not all of my sounds, so let me double check my word. The word is N-ob. I know that I need to continue to sound out the rest of my letter sounds to figure out my label. The next sound that I hear of the word is N-ob. N-ob. I hear the ah sound. The ah sound is same as the letter O. The letter O. All right, so I know that I'm still not done because my word is N-ob. N-ob. So now I know that I hear the B sound. The B sound reminds me of the letter B. The letter B. Let's stretch it out one more time. N-ob. N-ob. So I'm going to write the letter B right here. I need to make sure that my labels and my sounds my letters and my sounds match the label on my picture. So let me sound it out just to double check and make sure. N-ob. N-ob. Knob. I think I'm done.
Good, and also, you're fine. You're fine. I would also just make sure you go back and repeat, go back and make sure that they say the sounds of the word to make sure they get all the sounds in the word.
Okay.
Because they like to write just one sound and then stop.
Okay.
So you did good job. Good job. We'll tighten up some other things. Yeah. It's awkward at first because it's something new to you. It's something new to you, and it's a lot of steps. So, but once you get the flow, it'll be just fine. Okay. All right. So we won't be able to practice with error today because we're running out of time. So when I come what impact will this modeling of the I do have in your classroom, you think?
A better understanding for the skill.
Okay. I need you to state the skill.
Oh, the I do for labeling, so segmenting the sounds. Okay. Understanding of the skill for segmenting sounds.
And being able to, not just segmenting the sounds, but what else?
Oh, blend them, write it down, put it together.
Segmenting and writing down the sound.
Yeah.
Okay, segmenting and writing down the correct sounds, okay?
Okay.
So, when I come next week on November 18th, I'm going to be looking for you to deliver your specific script for the I do portion of your writing lesson. So, I'll be looking that you stick to that script and properly model your think aloud. So, if you will, write out your script and then have it for me that Monday when I come so that I can follow along with you. If I see you struggling to stick to your script, I'm going to give you a nonverbal cue. It's going to be like this, my palm out, and I'll be like doing this. So if you get too wordy or go off of your script, because you want to stay very specific. Do you have any questions about your action step for this lesson? Okay. All right. Well, we'll head into wet zone as your next action step, and we'll see you on the 18th.
Okay.